This is Plague Doctor here for an off-season scrimcast between Valor and Fire. I have my co-caster Crimson here today, captain
Hello.
of Valor. You know him. You have seen him around the community. We're going to get started on our first map of this matchup. It's going to be Dam. Currently, we have Fire over on the defense, Valor on the offense. One interesting thing is we're seeing a mix-up of rosters. Is that right, Crimson? We're seeing Red from Valor originally, now over on the Fire side for this scrim.
Yes, teams have definitely been changing it up in the off-season. I hear Formula 3, of course, Valor, and Fire have all changed quite dramatically. Fire, not quite as much as the other two, but still some decent changes here. As we can clearly see, Red's on the enemy team, former Valor player. Let's see how they do. Ooh, good flash into B. Good double flash into B. Triple flash.
An unfortunate incendiary that goes awry inside the point will kind of block off part of the point. VLW gets taken out by Cherry Blossom. A full point push from the Valor stack. Now it is just Baby Girl Blur on the Fire side, trying to take out the rest of this Valor stack. Takes out one, tries to take out Cherry Blossom, can't quite get it down. And that is a full team sweep from the Valor side, EMP down as well.
Very clean push. Those flashbangs, even more than the flashes, the smokes were insane. We didn't practice those lineups. I don't know how they hit those smokes, but they were brutally effective. Like, that right side smoke just made it impossible to push or control the right side of that entire room.
Those good on them, honestly, you know, looking at the lineup. Folks have been talking about, just with the roster updates, folks who have been watching the roster updates channel, obviously, some haven't, some have. There's been some interesting, you know, changes in the off-season, but Valor still seems to be going strong in this off-season, picking up Lynx GTV, picking up a few others. I saw you picked up Mr. Hello Speed, is that right?
Yes, I'm extremely happy about that pickup, and I refuse to hide it. I think he's the next prodigy of Breachers, man. He's got some talent.
I was going to say, you saw his performance in the qualifiers, I think we all did, with his team. Even if they didn't make it onto the stage at the con, they put up a hell of a show when they were playing against those top teams. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they develop into in the future. Now on second round on Dam, we're looking at Demon Devin and Red both holding down back hall, trying to get the wall down. It looks like we do have a disconnect on the Valor side. Fishy, unfortunately, gone with a primed foam in hand, no less. We'll see if Dusty may possibly capitalize off it. He's near an external window, but I think they're not quite sure. It feels like Valor is possibly just waiting on him to get back. If I'm Valor, I might be shooting Bot Sarah, or at least following, shooting Bot Sarah to get that primed foam, because they're holding off your push completely, as well as a free Omen in hand. Maru in hand for Cherry Blossom could be a pretty great buy for them, especially with the economy on the Fire side. It looks like they went for a pretty hard save over on the Fire side, just picking up Spectrals and nothing else. Now, we're seeing Dusty push down the stairs. Wound, Punisher, and Lynx all in this back hall. Demon Devin takes down one. Dusty takes out the other, with Demon Devin cleaning up the last. Now it is just Cherry Blossom with the Marui. Crimson, if I'm Cherry Blossom, if you're Cherry Blossom here, do you save or do you just try to get the 5K?
I probably sit here and see how much they're willing to feed me before I commit to the save, but it's definitely not a comfortable position to be in. Ooh, definitely. Once you get that stem off, you're back in that corner, you definitely have to commit to the save here like Blossom is doing. Overall, I would say that was a highly unfortunate round. That DC really kind of threw off the entire push. Normally, there is a flank guard.
Oh, I thought BLW was going to run straight out.
That'd be a tough fight. You have to look straight up, and
so
what he was only like 30% of the size.
What I thought BLW was going to do was while Blossom was rappelling up the side, I thought BLW was going to run down the external stairs and take him out on the rappel, because Blossom had his gun fully down. Might have worked out. Now BLW knows there's someone straight up top. He's getting pretty greedy trying to get this kill off, but it looks like Blossom is committing to the save, just sitting up on roof, maybe checking his phone, checking some TikToks, you know. The teenagers, the kids you're babysitting over on VALOR nowadays, right? The attention spans have to be pretty short.
Yes, there certainly are some moments. That's another reason why I'm glad we got to pick up some more, I don't want to say unks, but we'll say unks for the sake of it.
Oh, no. Just perpetuating the stereotype, Crimson.
I am. We have Lynx, who I don't remember his exact age, but he's upper 20s. We have Fishy, who I think is 19. I'm 22. Ikari's 22.
Yep.
A lot of people kind of expect Mr. Hellospeed, who is Punisher Preston, by the way, for those who don't know, to be older because he's an Onward player. He's actually 15, and he has played Onward for 5 years. So you can do the math there and tell that he has been playing professional esports, professional VR shooters for a very long time. He has a wealth of experience, and especially when you start that young, you really build that mechanical skill quickly.
Yeah, no, because we saw that at Con when I was up at the stage on Con. You can see the Onward players. You know, everyone always, obviously, the joke around the community is Onward players are old, Onward players are, you know, all that. But a lot of them were still, you know, teenagers, maybe mid-20s. There were no just real old Onward players up there. And that's kind of the trend we see in a lot of these games. The folks who are at the highest level of competition are pretty consistently younger and younger because they've been raised on this technology. You know, they've been raised on this type of game.
It definitely goes to say, I think there's something to it about it's easier to learn when you're younger. I think that's just part of being a kid, is your brain is just more easily adapts to those kind of new scenarios. And so we really do see those young players really start to shine as time goes on.
Yeah. Wall blowing on a standard A push is what it feels like, but it looks like Demon Devon actually rotating around to B. They want to take out Mr. Hellospeed on the other side, hoping to isolate these VALOR players, but they can't quite get it down. BLW as well, a transplant from Zero last season, I believe, trying to maybe prove himself a little bit against this VALOR squad. Punisher Preston pushing back up. Hellospeed now getting some stims down. Minute left on the clock. VALOR knows they have time on their hands. They don't need to rush it. They don't need to be super quick about this push. They want to get good positioning. It's also making the fire stack get impatient. We see BLW pushing around by bomb. They're not quite sure where VALOR is. They don't like having zero information. BLW wants to almost go for a roam is what it feels like. He's going for some sprint peeks around that could get him killed.
I think VALOR is playing this very well here, trying to make sure that that flank is clear, not rushing things to where the flank hits, kills all three of them, gets some crazy damage. They're taking it slow, steady, and making it easy to where they can get this plant off. Ooh, is Fishy going to try and lean around the molly? No, he just waits it out.
Yeah, a good plan from Fishy because their molly went down first. Demon Devon now is not a util off. Now Fishy is going for the defuse. Devon pushes around, unfortunately is not taken out by anyone blocking the EMP plant. That was a fantastic 2K from Demon Devon, giving a leg up for the team. Now 1 kill down. Mr. Hellospeed pushes up, takes out both. What a clutch kill, especially with a Viper in hand, Crimson. That was a fantastic push, and this is exactly the type of thing I've talked about with the Onward players, with the PAV players, with the Veil players at Con. You know, Breachers, it has definitely a bit of a soft spot in my heart, but especially for those players who play those longer-ranged, more milsim games like Onward, if they like CQB, if they like fast-paced, close-quarters battle, Breachers is their game, and we can see that with Mr. Hellospeed. We saw that in Onward and, you know, his home games, but we can see that especially in Breachers. He's not a new, he's not a new Breachers player by any stretch of the word. However, he's definitely not the oldest.
Him playing Breachers, like, around when he played qualifiers, was, like, first week of Breachers. So he is actually a very fresh Breachers player when you really look at it.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying, like, he's not a... I guess I should have said he's not a new shooter player. But he picked up Breachers very quickly, and we saw that with his play style in his home games. He plays very quick, very close to the other side. So Breachers it feels like it's going to be his bread and butter when he's not playing his usual games.
That confidence that he shows when he's taking his gunfights is what really makes him special. He is completely fearless when pushing enemy players. He trusts wholly in his aim and his ability to immediately flick players when needed. And that is truly what makes the difference.
Seeing a downstairs roam from Dusty is an interesting pick, especially with the Vezin on these long angles. Could not work out in his favor, but we'll see if it happens. Wound and Mr. Hello Speed pushing up. Looks like a standard A push from the Valor squad. We'll see if they get it done, especially with the flank from Dusty. He's got a very long flank going, but I would say Valor isn't necessarily known for their speed. I would say on Dam when it comes to their pushes. They're known for, methodical pushes, trying to get some plans going. So Dusty knows he has some time to rotate over. He's now in their back line. We'll hope there's a flank guard. I believe probably Mr. Hello Speed shouldn't be on flank guard. It probably should be Blossom. He's on stairs. Right now, they're leaving their backline completely open. Now that the incense down, I feel like this could be an opportunity for Mr. Hello Speed. Check the stairs. Check to make sure there's no one on your backline. This is a really volatile place to be. You have no one watching. You don't know how many people are in point.
I think this Dusty's going to get a huge flank off there. It seems like Valor is fully opted out of the flank guard scenario in this case. Definitely going for that site plant. The question is, does he get more than one or does he get traded out early?
Here he goes. He's very cautious about it. He thinks there is a flank guard because Valor usually has one, but Valor's getting picked apart currently by the rest of the team. Dusty now pushes out, takes his opportunity, takes down one, takes down two. EMP is not down just yet, but now it's just Fishy, who's outside the building with a Marui. Could get some clutch picks off, but 30 seconds left on the clock. I feel like a bit of a misplay from Valor. I don't know if you saw, we're having Fishy probably outside on a bit of a save, just hoping to get fed a little bit by the enemy players. But while we look at that, what do you think fell apart in that play, Crimson?
It looked like people kind of got picked off looking at A side a little bit there. It really did just look like some people might have overextended slightly, lost some ones. Overall, I wouldn't call that a super hard loss. Good flank by Dusty. Really good control, just knowing he can be patient and let his team hold the point. You have to have a lot of trust that your team's not going to fold on site in order to hit those kind of really slow, really well-timed flanks. But I think even repeating that push, you could definitely see it go the other way if people win their gunfights.
100%. Especially, with the gun choices. We saw a lot of Maruis from the Valor squad. Unfortunately, it's biting them a bit in the ass at this point because they don't have the money to get much else. But it's not round switch, so they can afford to save a little bit and go forward into the next round. Looking at the scoreboard, 5-3 from Demon Devin over on the Fire side, but 5-2 from Mr. Hello Speed, top of the leaderboard currently. Well done to him. Getting some good
Definitely getting some work
scores on the board. Even without that 2K, it still would be positive. Top floor is going to be an interesting one for Valor. This is going to be a bit of a slower floor, especially pushing through security. There's so many spots that these defenders could be down the stairs, back B hall, possibly over towards the A rotate. We saw you on qualifiers, I believe, back in this hall where they kept flashing you out. So it could be interesting to see how these players fare.
Man, let me tell you, you can fight some wars in that hallway. The games, you win or lose on that hallway a lot of times.
100%.
Valor, definitely taking some good space here on the hallway. Very ready for some of these swings. You see them stop, post up on some angles, and just trying to see if the players on fire will get over aggressive and give them a free pick. So far, looks like they're just waiting for that second drone in from Lynx. It's really going to come down to Red on that hallway and how aggressive he wants to be.
Looks like we have a double stack from Dusty and BLW. Drone gets a little more ground than I think Fire would really want. Now knowing there's two players inside B point, looks like a B push is likely for the Valor squad. But as Demon Devin pushes out, takes out Blossom, that is going to be an immediate pickup. And also a rotate from the Fire players. They know that they have numbers advantage. They can stick together on point. Dusty itching to go for a peek, but he knows his limits. He knows he can't fully peek this Valor squad. He's just waiting them out, waiting for anyone to push on this peak. He's got to be careful he doesn't corner bang this metal cart. That might immediately drop his damage down a good bit. Fishy, Wound, and
Gotta
Lynx
be careful.
all just waiting
Interesting
it out.
molly.
Not sure what the molly was going for, but it's given Blur the opportunity to rotate. Immediately gets taken out by Fishy with a Marui, and that's why Dusty was waiting. We saw Dusty having the game sense to know he can't just push this long haul. He can wait
That
out.
lack of
Fishy, but gets taken out
Ooh,
regardless.
good shot.
A fantastic pickup. Wound nearly gets taken out by Demon Devin, but evens up the numbers and actually gives VALOR the numbers advantage. Now they're trying to hold that numbers advantage down. Wound pushes straight in on the back line, hoping to take out Demon Devin. Doesn't know where he is, gets taken out immediately. That was a bit of a unfortunate deep push that did not work out for Wound, and then they got cleaned up by Red.
Good effort. Red definitely had some amazing shots there. That site really comes down to gunfights. If you lose the first player, a lot of the times you lose the whole push. But if you get that first kill, a lot of the time it snowballs deep sight. We saw it go both ways in this scrim, and all it really comes down to is how well your util's connecting and how well your shots are hitting.
Yeah, and now, honestly, last round, VALOR does have a good amount of money. All of them can full buy, but in this case, with the amount of money you have, I almost would have one of the VALOR players buy down to an Arill, possibly, or a Viper in the case of Fishy, to get util, which is what they're going for. They need util. Util is, I would say, not king, right? Because gunplay is king, but util is a very, very close second, because you want to have these things to eat the defense has. 3 Vezins, 2 Maruis. We'll see if these VALOR players can get it done.
I think I may see a bit of a mistake from Fire here. Looking at this, looks like Red wants to be aggressive and hold this door, but if you look at the position of the rest of the Fire players, they're all spread out and not at all near Red. He is very isolated, and he's going to struggle to hold this position on his own. Very good chance one flash takes him out, and that's free numbers for VALOR. Now, this hallway, I think, is very important to hold here. If you lose this hallway, that plant position can be very brutal when you're up numbers. Not the easiest to hold by any means.
I could definitely see BLW getting taken down as a package deal as well, but I say that as Dusty, on a horrifying lean, takes out Punisher Preston. We do see Red get taken down. BLW does not rotate out like I thought he would to get the refrag. Instead, waits back in the A hall. Even up numbers, but health advantage belongs squarely in the Fire court, as BLW is still waiting very patiently for a rotate out. Baby Girl Blur getting a fantastic wallbang headshot onto Fishy will even up the numbers and actually give the numbers advantage to Fire. BLW wants to rotate out, but he's having a lot of patience, which is, I would say, uncharacteristic for his league play when he was playing for Zero. I feel like Zero was a very volatile, quick-paced team, and BLW has a lot of restraint going into this.
I think he's definitely learned a lot from a team like Fire. A team like Zero is that definition of a top diamond team, where there's not as much team chemistry. It is a lot of decently skilled players all trying to get things done. So it really comes down to how much you can learn and follow from these top master teams. That being said, here he goes. Is anyone watching? Yes! Wound picks up the kill. However, Demon Devin gets a very good swing from sight, immediately picks up 2 more. It is now down to a 1 versus 2.
And they know where Wound is because of the flash he just threw. It looks like Demon Devin going for a bit of a run out. Can't quite get any peeks off. They might not know EMP is outside. Now Wound pushing straight in. Demon Devin not in view. Wound chooses to not pick up EMP, which is just, I mean, kind of a fact of life, unfortunately, in this level of play, where if you put the EMP down, they're full rushing you with 2 people. That's not really, you can't just put the EMP down like you can maybe in pubs or in comp.
Yep, a very good swing from sight. Really is just really solid work from that Fire defense there. Looked a little scary for a moment. Once again, if just things went slightly better for VALOR, a little bit better shots, a little bit more connection onto Demon Devin, and suddenly Fire starts to lose control of that site and the plant starts to go down. But they had just enough team coordination in those swings to where even though they lost a player, sometimes 2, that 3rd player would always hit and get damage done no matter what.
Looking at the scoreboard, Demon Devin definitely a front runner for, I mean, both squads, but especially Fire. 10-3 is fantastic, but we are seeing Mr. Hello Speed still sitting at the top for the VALOR leaderboard. Lynx GTV falling behind a bit, but perhaps Dam is just not his map. Now, heading into this next round, we do have Switch. Suddenly Fire is on offense. Valor is on defense. We're seeing a pretty similar setup. However, we don't see them down the long hall. We're seeing a very close push near stairs as well as upstairs, possibly on security. A drone in from upstairs. Very interesting push. Hopefully someone's holding the top stairs. They don't see anyone through. I'm not quite sure what the push idea is for the fire squad. I suppose they were really cautious of someone being upstairs. Perhaps a call from Red. I don't recall you posting anyone up on upstairs for Valor.
Not something that's super common. Unfortunately, I do have to interrupt slightly. One of my players randomly has to drop, and there's not a single player to sub, so I'm unfortunately going to have to cut this cast off here and immediately hop into game to go help Valor out some. I am so sorry.
I'll keep the cast up. Thanks for casting the first half of the map with me, Crimson. Good luck.
No problem, Plague. Thank you very much for having me. I'll see you later.
See you later. And then there was you and I, chat. We are back into this gameplay. It looks like one of the Valor players do have to drop. Very slow gameplay from the Valor squad. Not quite sure who has to drop, but we'll see. A push in will take these players down a little bit low. Incend down at Fishy's feet. He's just dead. There's no point. Blur barely does not go down. A 5-person push in, extremely aggressive from the fire squad, will get EMP down with no recourse for the Valor squad. More util going through. We're seeing a full push, I would say like an anthill almost, trying to defend their mound. Wound gets taken down by some wallbangs from Dusty. Looks like Punisher Preston trying to get the push off. Can't quite it down. BLW walks through the incendiary to finish out the kill. And that is going to be a 5-2 lead for the Fire Squad. It's not looking great for Valor so far. Regardless, though, I think this isn't looking the worst for Valor, because Valor could definitely come back from this. You know, we're seeing Valor getting some good plays off, but Fire is, I would say, almost surprising me just a little bit with their gameplay. Honestly, yeah, surprising me a little bit with their gameplay. They are getting some clutch plays off, and some clutch plays that we haven't seen from a lot of League players as of recent times. You know, we're seeing these players get off some really, really interesting pushes with their utility, with their weaponry, to get these kills down. Especially with now Demon Devon hoping to go in on the back line with EMP. Looks like Mr. Hello Speed wants to go for a very long roam, heading all the way downstairs, perhaps, with the Viper. An interesting choice. Second round after switch. BLW and Demon Devon looking to possibly push in. It looks like BLW trades out Demon Devon because of having the EMP. Demon Devon holding on to some flashes, maybe rotating around to the other side, in fact. Punisher Preston possibly going to get droned out all the way downstairs. He was right to go all the way down. Looks like he hears the drone drop. Now he starts going up. BLW and Demon Devon now going in. We'll see if a flank watch will happen. Looks like Dusty is on flank watch. Not watching super carefully. But they do have someone back there, at least. Punisher Preston hoping to push up. Dusty on a very dedicated flank watch. Honestly, a surprisingly dedicated flank watch. Now pushing straight up, giving time for the rotate. But already, there's not many players left. Dusty still on the flank watch. Punisher Preston not ready for it. Gets taken out by Dusty. Now it's just Wound, who has to contend with a 5-stack of Fire players as Wound pushes around, takes out one, but gets taken out by Red, and that is an immediate 6-2 lead for the Fire Squad. They just want to get this map done. Valor not faring too well currently against the Fire Squad, especially with some tryouts on the side of Fire, but we have to keep in mind these are past Valor teammates over on Fire, in the form of Red, and Dusty was actually on their LAN roster for the VRML Con as well. So these are players who know possibly some of the strats that Valor uses, but They didn't have their IGL in place before. They do now, but they're not on offense. We'll see if Crimson can make a bit of difference now coming in. He did get killed last time when he first came in, but possibly it'll improve with time. Still Demon Devon 11-3 with Blur going up a few more points. Punisher Preston still at the top of the Valor leaderboard, is just on fire. A split push, it looks like, from the Valor squad. Dusty, Red, and Demon Devon looking to push in. Clone is down, does draw some fire from Valor, but Fishy takes down Red with a few scratches, but not too worse for wear. Another flash goes down, but Demon Devon is probably going to get taken out by a fantastic nade from Lynx GTV. Another nade will not take down Dusty. Dusty hopes to get these refrags down, can't quite get it done. BLW on the back line. Crimson knows there's someone there. Crimson gets taken out by BLW, but BLW is now split away from his teammate. Dusty wants these kills. Fishy pushes up, takes him out. Now it is just BLW hoping to rotate around and take out Fishy, Lynx, and Wound. They hear him on the rotate. They hear him pushing around, watching the door, and gets taken out. That is now Valor going up another round, 3-6 in this matchup. Well done to the Valor squad for not just giving up on Dam. Hello, Blaze Shark in the chat. Good to have you in. Good to have you here. Blaze Shark, one of the folks I play with on Breachers quite a bit. Juice as well, one of the fellow casters. I believe you might be the only ones watching, but don't need to have folks watching. That's what the on-season casts are for. These are mostly just to hang out and for teams to VOD review. We are seeing Crimson upstairs, actually. Might be going for a bit of a long roam. With Blur and Red upstairs, they may catch Crimson out on the roam. It seems Crimson wants to take advantage of what he saw on the cast of these folks going in upstairs, but looks like he may be thinking better of it, rotating back through. Blur and Red now pushing up. Droning themselves in as Crimson is on the back line. Crimson waiting very patiently, knows the drone is there. Drone misses him. Now he's rotating out. He hears the drone rotate down. Doesn't see Red. Doesn't see Blur, but knows they're there because of the drone. Heading up on their back line. Red very carefully, just watching up the stairs with Blur coming down, shooting out some trip mines, which will be good for him. Blur and Red both just waiting outside the wall breach with Demon Devon pushing up to support. Red on flank watch, but it looks like he gives up the flank watch as no one was really on the stairs. Throwing out a good bit of utility. Now back on flank watch, backs up again. It's a bit of a... they're not quite sure if they want to flank watch, really. Looks like we do have a flank here. Just checking it, making sure. Lot of Valor players on the point as Punisher Preston gets a 2K from the downstairs flank. Taking out an opportunity. Crimson rotates down, takes out another, and now it is a 3v2. Fantastic pickups for Valor with those dual flanks. With Fishy, Wound, and Lynx GTV left to pick up the scraps, but you can't underestimate Red and Dusty on these points. Still foam up on the wall. Red holding onto a Vezin, Dusty onto a Marui. However, the Valor players don't fare so well. We do have a Marui from Fishy, who's watching one of the sides, but the rest of them, Lynx GTV and Wounds, aren't faring as well. They have a RCP and an Aril. Not too good. Red now choosing to rotate through with an Incendiary. Does not have EMP. Dusty rotates through smoke, pushing straight into point. Lynx gets taken out by an Incendiary. Another takeout. Now it is a 1v2, but they split it up. But Red wins the round for the Fire side. Not Valor side, Fire side. That is going to be a 7-3 result for Fire versus Valor on this first map. Well done overall to both sides. Looking at that end game scoreboard, 11-5 from Demon Devon, brought closely up by 8-5 from Red. 8-8 from Punisher Preston is a fantastic score for a newer Valor player. That is going to be someone to watch in these next bits of season. Going to go back to just a blocker until we go into our next round. While we wait, just want to talk a little bit more. VRMOCon was a fantastic event, and I hope I saw a good few of you there. It was a fantastic one to watch. I know I saw the Valor folks. I think I got some Waffle House with a few of them, and it was a pretty fun one. I saw a few of these players that are here, including Wound, and Dusty especially did a lot up on the stage for Valor. He was a fantastic addition to their LAN roster. So we'll see how it goes with him captaining his own team over on Fire. Voting already going up for the second map. Missing my co-caster, but, you know, we deal and deal. Gotta tell these players to start the next one whenever. Just waiting. There we are. Next map, loading up, is going to be Ship. Ship is going to be an interesting map to see these two teams play, especially because we have Fire starting on the offense. So it's going to be something where Fire is going to have to push pretty hard, I would say, onto navigation, because Valor does have good plays on the defense on navigation, but Fire has shown some pretty good team composition when it comes to pushing together and getting those clutch plays and gunplay down. So they really, really need to push in. We're seeing maybe a split push as well, with Blur on the other side of the ship, hoping to hit another hatch, maybe give a good distraction for the players pushing in on navigation. Good amount of utility going down for the Valor players. Just showing, I believe, Mr. Hello Speed, where to put down these statics and put down different navigation. Definitely a likely push. Red foaming up the hatch. Dusty and Demon Devon ready. Looks like we do have window push as well. Crimson ready on nav. Is going to try to take out the drone without getting shot himself. Drone is low to the ground. It's going to be a fantastic position for drone to be in to get some good information. Just checking the corners as Crimson takes out one, but Wound gets taken out in return on bottom floor. Crimson's getting flanked out. Does take out in return. Punisher Preston tries to get the refrag. Can't quite get it done. 3 versus 3, but health-wise favors Valor's. Lynx GTV is on the back line on a lean, especially with BLW holding onto a Taurus. Lynx knows he can really push his advantage on the hull because BLW is going to take 2 shots to kill him to the head. Lynx can get off many more than that in a row. Red on the point, hopes to take out Fishy. Can't quite see him. Gets some shots down. Punisher Preston throwing out an incendiary to hopefully take out Dusty. Can't quite get it done. Just forming up with these players. BLW nearly gets taken out from a clutch wallbang as Lynx GTV gets a 2K onto BLW and Red. Dusty, a 1 health wonder, trying to take out Lynx at this point. Lynx holding on to EMP. Dusty doesn't have much of a choice but to push, unfortunately, with 1 minute and 10 on the clock. It's going to take Lynx not getting impatient. If Lynx gets impatient, Dusty will get the drop on him. Sound cues are in Dusty's favor. Dusty revealing his position is going to give Lynx a very good idea of where he is, but the wallbang, the headbang through the wall, and the kill from Dusty. Lynx, unfortunately, just whiffing most of his shots there, getting taken out. Dusty with the fantastic clutch for the Fire squad is going to be bringing them to a 1-0 lead. 2K from Crimson, a 3K from Dusty is what you want to see for the Fire side, not what you want to see for the Valor side. 2-2, no one else getting a kill, but Lynx putting up a fantastic showing as compared to last map, so we'll see how it develops through the rest of this map. very excited to, be back from con, and very excited for what is going to be hopefully next year's con. I'm wanting it to be, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm wanting it to be an East Coast or a Central location, because that is what would be very economical for a lot of people. But we'll see. Birthing does get hit out. We do see a flash going down as Fishy takes out Demon Devon immediately, a front runner for the last time. Red climbs the railing, not get taken out by the incendiary at his feet, now going around towards the window, hoping to get a bit of a refrag down. BLW now rotating through, tries to take out Lynx, does get it. Sorry, folks. Does get it done. Can't quite do it without getting any damage. Static works out very well for VALOR, actually. There's not much they can do over on the fire side to get in. BLW hoping to take out the static, just can't quite see where it's being projected from. Choosing to go around. Red very carefully watching the back line with BLW rotating in with that RCP, but Punisher Preston gets the kill down. Red can't quite get the refrag, throws the incendiary just to not get pushed immediately. With Dusty being very careful, trying to take out, chooses not to shoot out the static, instead walking on top of it, sacrificing about 9 health, but it's not too bad for his team, especially to now be able to flank out Punisher Preston, not before Punisher Preston takes out Red. Now it's just Dusty against a VALOR 4-stack, in fact. Dusty has to take out Wound, Fishy, Crimson, but Crimson peeking through, does get seen, doesn't even check his corners and gets taken out, takes out another. Fishy hoping to get the refrag and pushes together with his teammate. Nearly falling victim to, I believe, almost an ace. But Fishy cleans it up in the end. Dusty going up, getting a 3K, almost a 4K on that last round. He's on fire, no pun intended, on this round for the Fire Squad. He's shown that he can get some fantastic refrags, fantastic shots of his own for his team. Now, on the push for VALOR, VALOR defending the push, rather, we do have Fire trying to form up on an outside of a standard push for the wall. They're hoping to just get in, and get in quickly. Crimson on the roam may affect that, but we'll see how that works out. BLW and Red both outside the blowable wall. Yeah, there being a former VALOR teammate is going to be a bit of a thorn in the side for VALOR, because Red knows their plays, knows the plays that have been rehearsed a lot of the time for these players, so he knows how to counteract them. We saw him aiming up at the windows, aiming up at those flank spots, because he knows that VALOR does occasionally like to do those cheeky back flanks. Doesn't matter, though, as he gets taken out regardless. Crimson escapes scot-free as Dusty takes out another. Crimson has to rotate down the stairs. He's now alone. A really unfortunate thing is his team just could not hold out against the pressure of the Fire Squad. And it looks like Crimson going to be going straight upstairs. Doesn't have a stim, only has an omen. What chance in the world does he really have to get this clutch off? He's going to try it. He has to, he's not going to wait this whole entire minute just waiting it out, I feel like. Goes over to the door on the other side. I think he may actually... No, it looks like he is actually just going to wait this out. I suppose saving that omen is probably pretty important, but that's real unfortunate. Crimson got the clutch back end off, took out one, another few took out another, but unfortunately his team just couldn't hold up to the pressure of the Fire Squad rotating in. 2 kills inside the point, 1 outside, and that really cinched it for the VALOR Squad. They just could not hold up. Crimson going out for a lean a little bit early, but thankfully doesn't get taken out. BLW trying to wallbang him through a surface that is very clearly not wallbangable, but I respect the hustle. Let's see. Now, 2-1. Fire is up. Dusty, holding a 7-2 KD, did get taken out on that last round, but getting the kills nonetheless. The saves from Valor allow them to scrape together a near full buy, other than Fishy, who's down to a Viper, down to an Omen. Meanwhile, a full buy, other than an RCP from Blur over on the Fire side. Similar situations, very different economy. We can see that BLW could buy another rifle if he really wanted to. They're pretty posh over on the Fire side currently. I mean, all Valor's scraping together whatever they can. Wound coming up the stairs along with Crimson waiting on the other side. Drone gets taken out by Crimson from Dusty. Incendiary goes down. That really doesn't do anything, unfortunately, but other Incendiary will block off the hatch drop. Doesn't matter as Red takes out Crimson with a clutch shot. Wound on the stairs could possibly get a clutch off, but Demon Devin pushing straight up does get flashed by his teammate. Wound in a pretty untenable position on stairs gets taken out by Demon Devin. Preston pushing back towards point. Lynx on the back line. Very spread out from his team. We've seen these pushes from Fire work out before as Fishy rotates, really overextending inside the point with the Omen. He overextends, does take out one, but gets taken out in return with Red actually getting the kill on his teammate. Lynx now on the back line in the smoke. Not much of a situation here for Lynx. Takes out one, tries to take out BLW, doesn't check his corner, gets taken out by BLW on flank guard. That is a 3-1 lead, and Valor's economy is in shambles as we saw all of them buy except for Fishy. Now none of them can afford Vezins or Marus. Meanwhile, Fire is sitting pretty, able to buy most anything they want, especially BLW, able to buy nearly 2 rifles with attachments as well. Rough situation for the Valor squad, especially, but not unwinnable. They can get some SMG clutches down. They're going to have to use the SMGs to get extra ammunition, extra money. Sorry, folks. Because those SMGs get you more money per kill. It's going to be an interesting thing to see if they get more money than they lost on the last round. Demon Devin, Red, and BLW all waiting outside berthing. Demon Devin as well. Very aggressive pusher in Demon Devin. He's very, very aggressive pushing in, but he has the gunplay to back it up. Red on the rappel, watching the back line, doesn't see anyone. Dusty does not drone downstairs. Crimson takes out BLW immediately. Over on the back line, just jumping, taking one out. Jumping the gun a little bit. Crimson still on berthing, wants to take out another. Unfortunately, does not get the nade off. Doesn't quite work out where he wants. Lynx takes out Baby Girl Blur. Devin now stuck inside berthing. Knows someone is there, doesn't know where. This is an opportunity, possibly, for Crimson, but he gets taken out by Demon Devin. Now Fishy, stuck near medical. He's going to have a tough situation, but Wound is there to support. Fishy on the medical hatch with Dusty on berthing. Dusty fires it out, immediately takes out Fishy. That's an unfortunate pickup for the Valor squad as Red now rotates through, throws the flash in, but Punisher Preston escapes the damage for now as Red goes for the plant. Punisher Preston pushing up, Wound on a lean peek on wall, but Red is pretty much uncontested. Hopes to go for the blind fire, immediately takes out Punisher Preston with that blind fire, and Wound does get lean peeked. That was a bit of a dirty blind fire from Red directly onto the head of Punisher Preston, but that's just the way it goes at this top level of play. The lines between the normal skill and the top skill just really blur quite a bit at the top. 4-1 for the Fire Squad. They're poised to take a 5-1 lead as Valor does not have a lot to show for their gameplay at this point. Crimson, unfortunately, with losing like 70% of his rosters, having to build up a whole new roster for this next season, having to build team comp yet again, as, you know, he's losing, he lost Ice Beast, he lost Red, he lost Gyms, and I believe he lost Shark as well. Just a lot of folks to be losing, especially this close to the next season. It's going to be interesting if these players can get the team comp in time to stay at the top like they have been for a lot of their seasons. BLW opening the window up. Red now climbing in, sporting the finalist Vezin that he earned from competing with VALOR. Now pushing up. Crimson might get seen, unfortunately. Does take out one, however, with the Marui. BLW tries to get the refrag. Can't quite get it down. There was a great roam from Crimson. Tries to answer it with another incendiary because if BLW is trying to push up, but doesn't quite get it done. That's EMP down as Wound takes out Baby Girl Blur. Blur takes out Punisher Preston. Just before Crimson, still upstairs, wants to take out BLW. BLW is still just sitting up top. Now Crimson rotates through, grabbing the Vezin. He's giving a lot of sound cues. He's giving way too many sound cues to the Fire Squad, but it looks like maybe that was a bit of a bait. That was possibly him just taunting them a little bit as Fishy takes out BLW. But I don't think there's really room to taunt if you're down this many points, especially as Dusty takes out Wound. Crimson on a lean peak, but does take out Dusty. Now it's just Lynx GTV pushing up, pre-firing out Demon Devin. But the nade, very late, does take out Fishy. 4-2 lead for the Fire Squad heading into their defensive rounds. 9-3 from Dusty. 6-4 from Crimson. Punisher Preston not doing as well as he did on the last map, but still doing very well for how new he is to the Breachers scene. Just waiting for this next round to start. We're seeing Baby Girl Blur pushing around, possibly towards birthing. Some statics down for the Fire side on the defense. They want to block the VALOR squad from getting a quick push. Pretty clumped up on the defense, but that's where you want to be for medical. You want to have a lot of folks defending these key points in the map. Wound pushing around, now repelled on the birthing window. Might see Blur's gun, as Blur's gun is sticking out just a little bit. Knows there's someone there, doesn't quite know where. Drone coming in, will probably get taken out by Red if they're not careful. Flash goes out, that'll block off Red. BLW rotates into support as Baby Girl Blur is droned out, gets taken out by Punisher Preston. Nade goes through, doesn't quite get any hits off at all. Red does throw an incend down. We'll probably take out Lynx GTV, and not worse for the wear. Red pushes out, gets flashed out, but does take out one regardless. Gets refragged by Crimson. BLW comes through, trying to get the shots off on Crimson. Can't quite get it done as he rotates through. Punisher Preston on birthing. Not in a good situation. One health wonder. No stim in the hands of any of his teammates as it is pistol round. Flash in hand, however. BLW chooses this time to rotate out as they try to shoot the static. Crimson unfortunately failing to shoot the static. Wound takes out one. Punisher Preston gets taken out. Now it is a 2v1 with Wound being at 4 health. This is not a situation you want to be in if you're VALOR, especially with this round being the difference between you going 3-4 or 2-5, bringing you one step closer to the 2-map loss to the Fire Squad. 1 minute on the clock. Wound shooting out the medical vent. Does know there's someone still watching. Dusty and Demon Devin both in birthing using their numbers. Takes out one, but gets taken out by Demon Devin in return. That was a good result overall for VALOR. Even if they didn't get both kills, they still took down one and denied economy from Red. And good play from Fire to use their numbers. We've seen some teams splitting up now and not using their numbers together. So We need them to use their numbers and get refrags. Five and 2 from the Fire Squad. They're aiming to go 6 and 2, possibly 7-2. But Valor wants to have something to say about that. They're still all on SMGs, but so is the Fire Squad. None of them have rifles. They're going for a soft save at this point. They don't want to give up any ground, economy-wise. Wall is going to get foamed immediately. Red is directly beside the wall. Knows someone is probably going to rotate through because he knows the Valor Squad. He knows someone's going to be coming through, and also this is just a pretty piss standard play that folks take. It is the meta play for their squad. Blur a bit out in the open, but not too bad, especially since Valor is not rotating through. Looks like Lynx GTV is now back as Crimson takes out Red, who's trying to be inside, but BLW with a clutch nade will take out Fishy. Gets the inadvertent refrag and also health advantage belonging in Fire's court. Demon Devin ready on a bit of a lean peak. Doesn't quite take down Wound. Wound on now a lean peak, but they get surprised by a quick push from Demon Devin with the SMG as well as BLW. Flash goes out, but nothing really to show for it. Baby Girl Blur does take out Lynx with some trip mines as Wound does take out another. Preston takes down BLW. Demon Devin pushing straight up, takes out Crimson, surprising him in the back room. Now it is a 3v2. Preston gets taken down. Now it's just Wound trying to go against a 3-stack of Fire players. Suboptimally, not full health as Blur does get taken out. Wound now is a really bad situation. Tries to take out one Fire player, then the other without taking too much damage. Has no idea where they are. Hopefully he checks his corner. Does check it, but Devin just has the better gunplay in this situation. Gets his gun up, gets the headshots down on Wound. That is going to be a 6-2 lead potential for a 2-map lockout for the Fire Squad, which should be pretty bad for the Valor Squad, honestly. Still, the economy is not fantastic on the Valor Squad. Still not actually fantastic for the Fire Squad either. Valor's been putting up a lot of kills. It's been those clutch, 3v2s, 3v1s, or 2v1s that have been winning these out for Fire. So they haven't been able to get up as much of a head of steam as they have on the previous map. Preston, Wound, Lynx, Fishy, and Crimson all not able to get a Vesnor Marui. They're stuck on Rills or SMGs, buying as much as they can with as much util as they can as well. BLW maybe going for a downstairs roam. Red and Baby Girl Blur over on Nav, trying to just get these picks off. They want to end this quickly, especially with their advantages they hold economy-wise. Preston going for a bit of a bold push. Probably will get taken out by an incendiary. He's just barely surviving in that mode of fire. Wound hoping someone climbs out, doesn't see it. Lynx pushes down the hatch, runs straight out the door with Blur getting a bit aggressive. Now drone goes down, does not get pre-fired out. Drone will probably see Blur in the corner, but Blur takes down the drone in return as BLW is standing up. BLW barely avoids the incendiary from Preston. Full nav push from the Valor players as BLW stuck on the side, can't really retreat back to stairs. Another incendiary will cinch it for BLW. He gets taken out by Crimson, doesn't get any hits off in return. Blur's back in point, but the backline from Devin still does not get taken out. Actually, now gets taken out by Preston with the Arill. 4v3, favorable numbers for Valor. But we've seen the Fire Squad come back from this, especially with the backline they have. Blur sitting behind desk, Dusty as well, near the bomb. Wound watching backline for Valor as Fishy is available in Nav. Meanwhile, a possible upset situation for the squad. Now 3v3. Red very carefully on the back line, just trying to get these picks off as Wound is just ready to push up. Wound going possibly for a backline push, hoping to just get some shots off on these players. Red checks his backline just in time to notice Crimson's back there, takes out 2. Now it is just Fishy having to again go up against 3 fire members, and he gets taken out. And that is another pickup for the Fire Squad. 2 maps in a row for the Fire Squad, and that's pretty much just a cinch up for their side. And well done to the Fire Squad. 7-3, 7-2 versus VALOR. They're definitely going to be folks we have to watch into the next season. I think that may be it from me tonight. That's 2 maps in a row. 7-3, 7-2. Well done on both sides. Glad to watch it with you all. This has been Plague Doctor on an off-season cast. Not a VRML cast, just an off-season regular cast here on YouTube. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your night.